Hi there, welcome to a new episode of Rider, Bonsai and Cacti. In this week's episode I want to talk to you about tools. Tools I use for working on my bonsai. Here you see a set of original bonsai tools. It's not the most expensive set, it's a rather cheap set, but I bought them somewhere in the last year. And probably you will be surprised, but I don't use them very often. Here, here you see one of the tools, and I have to say, for me, they are not very comfortable. You, they don't feel comfortable. This whole metal stuff doesn't feel comfortable. I don't know if it's just me or if more people have this, but for me, they are not too comfortable. So I hardly use the set. Then what do I do use? Well, mostly. Oh, I'm very sorry. I kicked the the camera. I use mostly tools which are not original bonsai tools. For example, um, these two, they can be used just as well as bonsai tools, as a wire cutter. And, this I like this better. They can be used for everything I want to use them for, meaning cutting different thicknesses of wire, um, wiring with this gives you a good opportunity uh, to the take the wire. It's very handy, and these are tools most people have lying around. I mean, I use them a lot, so don't cost any money. This is also a reason. In the beginning, you start and you buy some substrate, different types of substrate to mix your own substrate. You buy all kinds of thicknesses of aluminium wire, and it costs money. And you buy some trees in garden centers. It all costs money. And I thought, well, let's try and see if I can make some of those tools myself. And I have to say, most tools I I like. I bought, for example, this is not one I made. This is one I bought, but I bought this tool in a garden center, and I like it a lot more than the metal one, the original bonsai one I just showed you. Why? Because first of all, it's not hard. It's a little bit soft, and it fits my hand better. This is my left hand. I'm right, but it fits my hand much better. Um, if you look at costs, this is much more cheap than an original bonsai cutter. This thing costs me €9 for very small um, branches. I bought this one also €9, but to be honest, I hardly use it. The other one is very suitable for even the smallest, and I hardly use it. But sometimes I take this one more out of a feeling of I have it, so I should use it. Well, of course, this secretaire, I like this type, where one type is like a metal, where the other one connects to. Some people don't like this type. Well, can be. I like this one. This, of course, is something most people use. I also bought a small one. This one I bought very cheap, and very suitable, very sharp. And if this one, well, it's cheap, so the quality is not the best, but then you throw it away after 1 or 2 years. Throw it away, buy a new one for €4. Um, this one is a more expensive one. It's a very good quality, so I use that one or two. Then I'm sorry. Then for some typical um, tools you need to work on your bonsai. For example, let's talk about a root hook. You can buy them, and I see them sometimes. Some people buy them and they use them very well, but the handles are a little bit flimsy for my taste. And I made this one, this piece of wood, or actually it's a handle I had lying around for a couple of years, didn't use it for nothing, but I never throw anything away. And the metal part is just a very, very big nail. I cut off the head of the nail, and then I bend it in a 45-degree angle, drilled a hole in this wooden handle, which is just a tiny bit smaller than the nail, and I smashed it in with a hammer. It never, you see, I'm trying to put some strain on it. It doesn't turn. It never gets loose. The secret, of course, is don't drill the hole too big. But I like it a lot. The handle is a bit long, so it gives me, sometimes I hold it like this, and sometimes I hold it like that. Gives me a good grip, and I'm very happy with this. Then the root rake. I use this one. Is this an original, Michel? No, it isn't. This once had a life as a fork. I bought this fork at a second-hand shop for 10 cents. I bent it, drilled 2 holes in it, and I had this piece of wood which I cut at a sloping angle. And I like this a lot. I use it a lot for the smaller work. The bigger work, I use the root hook, and it works very, very, very well. Chopstick. I don't use chopsticks. I tried to use them, but they broke because, well, maybe I put too much pressure on them. I had this lying around, a screwdriver, where the top part was broken off, and I made sure this was not sharp and rounded. I rounded it a little bit, and I use this as a chopstick. Works very well. Some people use metal chopsticks. It I like this. It works very well, and sometimes I use the bigger handle to press down on the soil. Then for filling the pots with substrate. Normally I use this one. Something like this, a scoop, is used by a lot of people, but yeah, I just thought I'm going to show you. It's a normal scoop. And then something like this. You can buy these things for filling the substrate after you put the pot, and also before you put the pot there. You can buy them. They are not cheap. And although I often use the scoop, I use especially the small one. Also found it again in a second-hand shop. This is actually a device. There was a hole in here. I glued a piece of plastic here. Works very well to close a hole. But normally there's a hook attached, and you hang it to the heating plate in your house. If you have central heating, you can put water there. It vaporizes and makes the air in the house less humid. Well, as I said, I glued this here. I paid, I think, 25 cents for this, and it's very handy and I use it a lot. This one I use almost never, but if I want to use one, I have one. I cut this from a bottle, a Coca-Cola bottle, you can see. The only thing you have to take care of if you want to do this is you cannot use a bottle which is too flimsy. This is quite sturdy. You can use anything, a very large plastic cup, and cut it in an angle. The angle is so you have more space. The tree. Let's say this is the tree and the pot, and you want to fill the pot. You see, like this, you pour it, and you still don't bump into the tree. If this is the same height, let's say like this, the moment you see you cannot, then you have to do more like this, and there's a chance of the substrate falling next to the pot. Of course, I also use a lopper and a saw, a pulling saw, but those are things most people use, and I don't have to show you. Um, well, this is a brief video of the tools I use, and I know some people will say, he's very greedy. Yeah, well, I'm Dutch, and we Dutch people are known to be greedy, but it's not only greediness. As you saw, I have the set with the bonsai tools, and I hardly use them because for me they are not comfortable. The only tool, original bonsai tool, I really, really like. Let me take these things away. Only bonsai tool I really, really like and I recommend people is this one. This is what they call a knob cutter. Maybe in time I will buy one which is a bit bigger. This is how it looks. And it cuts, if you cut off a branch with the secateurs, you never can get a nice clean cut. And this one gives a nice clean cut. I use it a lot. I like it. What I don't like is the fact that you have to hold it like this. And I see more people in more bonsai enthusiasts on YouTube making videos showing how they work on trees, and they all struggle with the same stuff. You have to sort of move your fingers around because otherwise it just falls. If you do it like this, then you cannot open anymore when you want to cut. So it's not the most handy tool to use. And if you can do it like this, you see, but then you cannot open too wide. If you open more wide for a more thick branch or residue of a branch, then it's not the most handy tool. What I don't understand is why they don't put, especially on this part, but a sort of handle, so your fingers are in between of the handle, like with this one, especially on this side. On this side, it would be perfectly workable. And I already thought about the fact of making one myself. Maybe I'm going to do it, going to make something here. So make something here. I'm sorry you couldn't see. So it's more easy to use. This you can hold with your thumb and your hand. It's not the biggest problem, but this is very difficult. At least I don't think it's very handy. So probably I'm going to find a solution for that. If I do, I will be back and with this on my YouTube channel and show you. Well, this was it for this week. It's a little bit shorter than a lot of my movies, but I hope you you learned some alternative possibilities to the official bonsai tools, which are more expensive, and especially people who start the hobby. You have to pay for a lot of things if you want to start. I mean, you need different thicknesses of wire. You need substrates. These two things are the most expensive. Pots, well, you can use anything for a pot. You can even take a bucket, cut off the bottom part if you want it more shallow, and then you have a big pot for a big tree if you need it, or take a normal plastic plant pot. You can use it the way it is. You can cut it, but um, you can have there are some alternatives there for example for bonsai pots, but the wire and the substrate you just need to have, and if you then can save some money on well, tools like this, save some money and try and find out if you like the hobby. And if you like the hobby, there's nothing wrong if you in time switch these tools out for original bonsai tools. If you want to do this, perfectly okay. But in the beginning, you can save some money. I mean, this tool costed me around 35 euros. But there is no alternative. So that's why I saved some money for this. And in the end, I bought it. Very happy I did. But the other set, I hardly use. Well, this was it for this week. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.